Welcome back to Health Studio in New York City, and please join me in welcoming my co-host for the day, Dr. John Brownstein, infectious disease epidemiologist, Chief Innovation Officer of Boston Children's, and medical contributor for ABC, just to name a few of his credentials. Thanks for being here, John.
Thank you.
So we just heard a couple of great keynotes. Would love to get your thoughts on them. First off, David Cordani with Cigna. He nicely put the fact that healthcare workers did not sign up to be in harm's way. He used the example of his father being a police officer, but yet healthcare workers now find themselves in that situation with COVID. So the initiatives Cigna mentioned about supporting healthcare workers were really wonderful to hear about. Just would love to get your opinion on how payers can further support healthcare professionals and health systems as a whole.
Well, I mean, I think it was a great talk. And I think the idea of trying to extend the initiatives and other sort of pandemic time support to apply more broadly is what I think is going to be really exciting in the future, right? So in particular, there's a clear opportunity for payers to embrace behavioral health in a way that they have not previously. We know the psychological burden is there for healthcare workers and staff, and it's there for everyone right now. So what is the opportunity now to extend this kind of support and make it more available? I think, we truly take to heart the feedback from health systems during this time with respect to the efficacy of virtual care, remote patient monitoring, hospital at home. And so really now is the time not to squander this process and not going back to business as usual. I know for our providers, these kind of tools have allowed them to stay safe, stay at home, maintain balance. And so this is this hope that this sort of post-COVID world, that Cigna continues to sort of embrace these types of services like e-consults, virtual care, and really push this forward into the future. So very exciting and very promising results so far.
Yeah, great points. So we also heard from Verily in this block of keynotes. Dr. Vivian Lee shared that 30% of people who contracted COVID go on to have sustained set of health issues for we're not sure exactly how long. That was pretty alarming for me to hear about. I hadn't heard that stat before. So as an epidemiologist, what do you know so far about the long-term issues of COVID on people's health, and what should we be most concerned about?
Yeah, I mean, we're hearing more and more about this post-COVID syndrome, right? So weeks or months of prolonged symptoms. We're seeing prolonged cough, fevers, memory, dizziness, hair loss, all these symptoms that are, continuing on into the future. And it's a mix. It's not necessarily people with just sort of underlying conditions. It's a broad range of the population. And, this is not just affecting, thousands of people, it's potentially hundreds of thousands of people. The reality is that the causes are still being explored. Many long haulers feel better maybe in the 4th or 5th month, but that recovery is still so tentative. And there's really so many long-term concerns about COVID, especially as you think about the future of sort of what's going to happen with our healthcare system and thinking about pre-existing conditions. Is COVID going to be considered a pre-existing condition? Is this going to be a concern that those who have been infected in the past are going to have challenges around their long-term care? And so a lot of issues around the sort of biology of this, but also around the care of so many going forward into the future.
Yeah, I was doing the math with the millions of people who've been infected, and 30% just seems like an alarming number of people who will have long-term conditions. So we'll have to check in with you again on that when we know more. So thanks for your input on these. We'll be back more with John in just a bit. So next up, we'll hear Fireside Chat with the CEO of Common Spirit, and then a special presentation from the US Surgeon General. Like I said, John and I will be back to recap after. Take it away.